Hi everybody, good morning and welcome to Big OGGIE Golf. Good morning to you crew. I'm in a car, but I'm not driving. Never happened for me, never happened before. I am with co-conspirator Neil Allen. Neil's just getting some fuel and we're off on another little road trip. This is all about Neil today, but I will be on camera and I think it's going to be a very interesting little adventure. We'll tell you more in a minute. So Neil,
hello John.
Where are we and why are we here?
Well, where are we? A lot of people will know this place.
Okay.
The famous Mars bar seller that works here. We're at Torquay Golf Club.
Torquay Golf Club.
Torquay Golf Club.
Home of Dan Hendriksen and Lester Barnes.
Yeah, and we are here. I'm going to have a driver fitting with Dan Hendriksen.
Wow.
Which is going to be fun. I'm going to look forward to this. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Never had a driver fitting. Well, I say never had a driver fitting. Not with like the modern interchangeable shafts and things like that. My driver's not, I'd say, custom fitted for me as such. It's one I've sort of pieced together. So it's going to be interesting to sort of get custom fitted and see what is right for me.
Okay. Now, we already know you hit the ball a long way. And you're doing really well with the driver you've got. So it'll be interesting to see what you choose today and whether it improves.
I've had to sort of tweak it to hit it straighter because of spin, I think. But the numbers will tell the proof of the pudding's in the eating, as they say. Okay.
So park up. So we're just been waiting for one parking space to appear. So we'll grab that now. And I'm going to have a little chat before we go and see Dan.
I was expecting Lester to be able to greet us, to be honest.
Well, I did. I thought you'd be coming, but outside, but flags. But oh well, there you go. So Neil, we're at Torquay Golf Club, as you said.
Yeah.
And we're here to see Dan Hendriksen.
Yeah.
Okay. Reason we picked Dan is because he's exceptionally knowledgeable. He's a fellow YouTuber, and it's really good to collaborate with other people, which we find on the channel. And we're going to do some more work with Dan. We've done a little bit of work with Dan before, so we kind of know him, which is good.
Yeah.
Reason for you to get a new driver? I think you want to change a lot of things in your game.
Yeah, I'm sort of looking at this year, sort of setting myself some goals for the next couple of years of improvement, and it's now sort of tweaking and just getting a few different bits and pieces sorted out. The driver I've got currently, I haven't been custom fitted for, is one I bought a shaft for, put it in the head, and I don't know if it works or not for me. I've had to adjust it a little bit loft wise, and I've lost distance because I don't think it's spinning as it should. Back when I was fitted a few years ago, you couldn't change the shaft, so it was fixed on one shaft. Okay. And then you'd have to judge it from that, whether it was stiffer, regular, or sort of going for the extra stiff. So yeah, with nowadays you can adjust the shafts and hopefully get a better fitting experience. Dan, great knowledge. I mean, we've sort of met up with him before, done a couple of bits with him, and yeah, his knowledge is on point to hopefully find something that may get me what I'm looking for.
Or not.
Or not, or it may be back to the other driver.
Yeah.
Who knows? It's just trying to find that thing.
For you, I think people have seen on the channel how good you are. A little bit erratic for your handicap level at times, but you want to get better. We're going to do a video all about the reasons why you want to get better, how you want to improve the frustrations. Who's that?
Look who it is!
Oh, might be Lester. Hang on, we'll see him in a second. Don't get too excited because it's Lester. All right, calm down, calm down. So yeah, we're going to do another video, a more in-depth video, a discussion video with you.
Yeah, I think we're going to sit down. We're going to have a pot of coffee in front of us. I think we're just going to go through
and just go through a few issues as to why you want to improve and why at this time of life you need to do it now or never.
We had a moment on the way back from one of our rounds we played, and yeah, from there this whole sort of like improvement thing has sort of stemmed. So we'll see what happens.
So let's go for it. So this is the start of that process, and so we're going to do a full interview very soon. But for now, let's go and see Dan in the fitting room.
Let's have a look.
So what is making you want to go from this TaylorMade M4 to the Cobra? What's the mindset there?
That shaft, the driver wasn't fitted for me. It's something I pieced the shaft together with the head.
Yeah.
And I find that it was spinning, there's hardly any spin with it. So I've had to loft it up to get it to spin, to stop so much left and right coming into play, which is more backspin. When I loft it down,
Yeah.
And I feel I've lost yardage.
Fitted
slightly.
for the shaft?
Not fitted for the shaft.
Okay.
So something I had in the previous driver that I just tipped.
You
So
tip
I put a new tip in it,
Okay.
and then put it in that one. So
Right, okay. And bad shot with this then what do you feel like?
bad shot is normally a left.
Bit left.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we'll do is we'll get some numbers with this. We'll have a little look at, I might probably fit you into this possibly a bit better if it needs to be, just so we've got a bit of an idea. And then we'll move on from there and just see what kind of works and see what's going to work with your game.
Okay. Right. Excellent.
And who do you have your lessons with?
I haven't had a lesson since I was about, my last lesson was probably when I was about 18.
I think you've literally got to say you're self-taught. Is that far?
Pretty
that far
much
ago?
self-taught. Yeah, always been around pro shops and pros and good amateurs. So my grip was very strong at one point, so I've had to sort of weaken that to try to take that left out a little bit.
Yeah, okay. So you've got a lefty, but you've also got that little pushy one in you as well.
Yeah,
little leaky right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the toey left is always the bad miss.
Heavy as well, a little bit heavy, sort of a bit drop kicking.
Can be.
Yeah.
And I can be quite steep into the ball.
Okay. And that's with driver as well?
With driver as well, can get a little bit steep. Right, so we'll hit the current driver now then.
Yeah, let's get that one on the go. I want to just see, we're going to get some numbers with this one just to get us going with.
Yeah.
Give us a base on where you're at, and then we'll see if I can do anything with that to get us started, and then we'll look elsewhere, alright?
Okay.
So that's you.
So we'll left straight at the...
Got some speed, eh?
Speed?
Got some speed?
No.
265 off the bat.
Got some power and not always in the right direction. Is that
Yeah,
right?
he's got the speed. Left. Nearly left. It's nice.
The club head speed's never been an issue.
No, see that.
It's just the...
But that's the shape. Is that the shape that you like to see? Do you feel like you've got more control on that
I
shape?
do like to
Left
see
to
a little bit left to right.
Yeah. So you could potentially give up a few yards doing it that way, but I mean you're going to get so much more control
Yeah.
if you can manage the face with that that path. And we'll talk about your path in a minute. But always left.
Always left.
What's the range, Neil? That one. Okay, so if we just look, let's just look at what you're doing with the club to start us off with. All right, see how you're delivering the club. So you're swinging at an average around 113 club head speed.
Yeah.
So that's tidy. That's nice. Hitting up on the ball at 3.4 degrees up. So good. Good at getting it up in the air. That's always good. But path is a little bit out to in. So you've got 4.1 degrees out to in on an average. And this is where you then start getting the lefts, is when you get that face close to that path. It's a dangerous place to kind of be, really. What's great, what I really like, is the fact that you're pretty consistent with your out to in.
Yeah.
So you're always around that 4 degrees, 3 or 4 degrees out to in. But you're also pretty consistent with the face.
Yeah.
So your face is always just a fraction closed. There's one in there that is fractionally open to the path, which is where you've hit that nice one where it's sort of drifted back towards the target. So if you were looking just to start hitting fairways, it's about understanding where the face is a little bit more.
Yeah.
Ignore the rest of the golf swing at this stage, because you're consistently swinging it on the same path the majority of the time. But if we just delivered that face just a fraction more open at impact, you'd just hit little puffy fades into the fairway. That's what your kind of shape of shot would be. The thing with it from there is you're probably not going to max out as much if you're looking for those 265 bombers that you've been hitting. You know, you're not going to necessarily hit that. You're going to be hitting it 250 fairway finding.
Yeah.
So, with that in mind, you know, it's whether you, and this is where we've got to have more discussions on it. But with that in mind, there's a slight fault from your point of view here. So just changing your driver, that's one thing you can do. But actually, probably if you want to become a better golfer, then probably changing your swing just a fraction. And when I say changing it, is tweaking fractionally is going to possibly give you some better results. You know, based on the fact of how you're managing your face, as in it's always just a fraction closed. You know, if we change your path to more neutral or more into out, you'll start to get that shape probably from right to left quite easily. You're starting at left, going left is your danger shot, isn't it? If we then look at what we're getting out of the actual performance of the driver, off the face you're getting an average of 157 mile an hour.
Yeah.
So it's hot. Based on your club head speed, that's pretty good. That's about where I would expect to kind of see you. Your launch is just a fraction low, 10 degrees, so an averaging around 10 degrees, and that sort of jumps around between sort of 8 and 12 or 8 and 12 degrees. If we look at backspin, we've got a spin of around 2.9. So actually, driver-wise, it's kind of launching low and then just revving a bit on you.
Yeah.
So you've got the odd one there that you've got up into the sort of 3.5, 3,000 revs, and you've got some nice ones there in around 2.5 to 2.8 to 2.9. So that's awesome. So the driver itself is actually it's launching a fraction low, and we'll look at the loft in it in a minute. But actually, it's performing quite nicely. Yeah. It's kind of what you're telling it's doing what you're telling it to do, basically, in some ways. So from a fitting point of view, I'm going to just have a little look at the launch on it and see if we could just get that up a little bit. But ultimately, if we changed your delivery slightly, we might see an increase in that launch as well. Yeah. So this is where you kind of, the fitting and the lesson go hand in hand in some ways. And then an average of 257 carry, getting, you've got a couple out there at 266, 268, and then 265 at the bottom, and then you've got the others at around sort of 250. It's good. The driver's performing well. It's just what you're doing with it and what you're telling it to do is kind of what's maybe causing you a few issues on the golf course. So, let's have a little look at the club itself. Alright, let me just have a quick look at that and just see if there's anything we can do from a loft point of view and just see where it's set.
So I did find before it was set at the stock loft, which is 9.5.
Yeah.
And I found that it wasn't really coming out with any spin, or it didn't feel like there was spin.
So what have you done to it?
Lofted it up. I can't remember what it's set at now. Is it 10.25 or something?
Is it, yeah.
That is one tick off high.
Yeah.
And that felt more like there was spin with the ball.
Yeah.
So obviously lower backspin, your side spins are going to technically increase, is that right? The potential for side spin with the less backspin?
Well, no, take side spin out. It's more how you're delivering it. So it's your spin axis on the ball is what you've got to be careful of here.
Yeah.
So again, if you're getting face to path a little bit out, you're going to start to see. The thing with it is you've got speed, and speed can be your friend, but it can also really hurt you.
Yeah.
And if you don't get everything lined up properly with lots of speed, you're going to see some massive dispersion on the golf course. And again, it's just what you're telling the club to do. So we can blame the club, but actually the club is only doing what you're asking them to do in some ways. Because I mean, it's set up. It's pretty neutral in its setup. Yes, it's you've got an extra stiff shaft in there, which probably just feels right for you, does it? You've probably used it for some time now.
I've used it for a while. Yeah, it was just for the face stability I found. So a little bit of toe here, and I found that it was holding the face a little bit better. If you know what I mean.
Okay. Right. Well, again,
the torque side of it in my head.
Yeah, low torque possibly. Yeah. So keeping it a bit more stable, possibly through impact. But okay, right. I've just lofted it up a fraction.
Yeah.
Now, what I want to do is, can we address this path slightly?
Yeah.
So can we get the sensation of swinging it a fraction more into out? Is that something you've ever done in the past? Is it something you've
not tried? No.
Tried to focus on?
Something I could, give it a go,
So we're going to have a little look at that and just see if there's anything we can do with that. So swing direction. So I want you to get the sensation that you're trying to get the feeling of swinging it more from there to here. So from corner to corner kind of feel. Okay. Let the club do what it's going to do. We'll just experiment with it and just see what it's going to go from there. But you're trying to hit it more out this way. Is a feeling, and that's not holding it off as you come through. It's just a sensation of trying to feel like you're swinging it more that way. And just let the club catch up. Let the club just carry on through. All right, and we'll just see what it feels like there to get us going with. So just feeling as though it's a little bit more maybe around your waist on the way back. Close. I've got the start position a little bit straighter.
Yeah.
We didn't quite get the strike. So how did that feel to you?
Did feel quite alien, sort of coming, feeling like I was throwing it out.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah. So what I love about this, and I'll say it to the camera, is that change it. We've done nothing there technically. I've just asked him to move, get a sensation of not swing path, but swing direction. So getting the sensation of swinging it from that corner to that corner. And that is a natural reaction as a golfer, as a human being, as a golfer, as a sportsman, whatever it is, to get the sensation of moving the club from one direction to another direction, okay? And the result of that is, okay, yes, you didn't quite get the strike where you wanted it, but the result of that one move of you getting the sensation of slightly trying to change your golf swing is you've gone from an average of, what did I say earlier? You've gone from an average of 4 degrees out to in, and in one swing you've moved it to 2 degrees into out.
Yeah.
So you've shifted 6 degrees.
Yeah.
From one feeling.
Little move.
I've not said anything other than move swing to there to there. So you can see how the human body and the mind, if you start thinking of it a little bit more, less about golf and more about feeling of direction, you can change your swing like that.
Yeah.
And instantly you've brought yourself into a position where you can start to capitalise on hitting good shots with the driver.
Yeah. So one of those things you struggle so certain way for so long, and then sort of trying that thing does feel strange to start with. So.
Yeah. So on that one shot, obviously, yes, we didn't quite get the strike that we wanted. Interestingly, you went from an average of around 10 degrees in the heel, because you're coming across yourself this way, you tend to get a little bit heel striking, to move to now 9mm in the toe. So you've really laterally you've moved across the face quite a lot as you've come through that shot, which is positive. So one small change, which is more of a conscious thing from your point of view, can make a big shift in how you're delivering, and that's just a mindset. So we know that we're doing the right thing in some ways. Interestingly, did you feel you notice your swing speed change at all?
Not really.
No. So you dropped about 4 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So that's just you trying to manage it in your own way, you know. Okay, let's go again. And that's where a lot of golfers, John, they get really they get so bogged down with trying to feel this and this and that. One swing thought, one mindset change.
Do you think that's an important thing, really, to only think about one thing at a time? Like every time I stand in front of a tee, suddenly I've got 10 different things I'm trying to remember in my head. It really confuses me. Where if I concentrate on one specific thing at a time to improve, that will get me through. Once I get consistent with that bit, then move to the next bit.
Yeah, I think so. Again, we all deal with it in our own way. You know, we all learn in different forms. I think for beginners, I feel that just go and hit, go and play, go and understand how a ball moves in the air, and how, you know, if you think about when we first kicked footballs around.
Sure.
You know, was there anyone ever, other than, you know, I watch my little boy now, 5 years old, running around kicking a football around. You know, he's not had the severity of a golf lesson to play football. He's just learned how to kick a football by watching his mates play football or watching me kick a ball to him or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And what he's learning is massive, you know, massive amount. But there's nothing technical in there.
Maybe then the scary thing is to actually go on a golf course. Because on the golf course, you're then judged by all the people around you. When your friends that are playing, oh, you've missed it, that one, oh, you should be doing this. It just gets bogged down. I often find I'm afraid to commit. Neil will say this all the time on my channel. You should commit to the shot. And you're almost pulling out of it halfway through the shot. Because you're kind of scared of what's going to happen to it. But what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, but you're thinking, and now you're talking in a different light altogether, because you're now moving into the psychological approach of the game, because you're thinking of what other people are thinking about you. You're thinking about a result before it's even happened.
Yeah, well, we'd actually just be thinking of swinging the ball and hitting it.
It's no different than why people can't get on a plane.
Yeah. Okay.
Why can't they get on an aeroplane? Well, they can't get on an aeroplane because they're scared of they're visually seeing the aeroplane come down.
Right.
You're visually seeing a golf shot that's never been hit yet.
Sure. But what's the worst that can happen? It's just going to go wrong. But it can go wrong many a time when I don't commit to the shot.
Yeah,
so
I mean, the reality of golf is you're going to fail more than you win.
Yeah.
A lot more. You know, and unfortunately, you just have to learn from you. You know, they're all mistakes, but the game of golf is one big mistake in some ways, isn't it? You know, how many good shots do you actually hit in a round of golf?
Yeah, the less mistakes you make, the better you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go with that again. So sensation of that, and that's all you've done is you've kind of moved the line from being straight down here to now being a bit more that way.
Yeah.
That's the feeling. Great, proper shot, eh? How was that?
That's it, straight down the middle, mate.
Yeah.
It's more your start position, because we've got your start position a little bit further, just fractionally right of the line, and that's the sensation you want. So if you're hitting golf balls not necessarily in a studio, you can hit balls on the range or something like that. Just put a stick in the ground, bang, right there, and try and work that ball just this side of the stick or this side of the stick, and work it back to target that way. Feel on that? How did that feel?
It did feel like I was coming more from, say, that in to out there.
So if we look at that one shot, okay, your swing path was 1.3 degrees in to out. Okay, so we've definitely started to move that direction, that swing direction and path, and everything's starting to work. You've got a face that's now only 0.3 degrees open, okay, and that's how you're going to have to learn how to manage the face in some ways, but that's just repeating golf balls and hitting shots. Okay, I don't want you to think too much about the hands and the reaction. I want that to be a bit more natural at the moment. But your launch has gone up, so you're starting to strike it in a more central position. You're only 3 millimeters in the heel now, where you're a little bit too heely early on. But your launch is now up to nearly 14.
Yeah. So that will be, in fact, apart from instead of coming down, also you're coming.
Yeah, well, you're attacking it from a slightly different angle, and you're interestingly, yes, your angle of attack did go up a fraction that time, which is kind of what you'd expect.
Yeah.
It went up to 5.6 degrees up, which was around 4 before. So, but the fact that you've got it to launch in the air, the driver's now starting to perform just that little bit better. Interesting, you spun that at about 3.33 in the backspin, so it's possibly spinning a bit too much.
Yeah.
And even though I've lofted it up a fraction more than what you had it, now you can see that actually you're launching it a bit high and spinning it a bit high.
Yeah.
So if we could just try and rein that in, so we'll just hit a couple more to see where you get.
Yeah.
But now you're swinging it direction. You're giving the driver a chance to perform. For you. Yeah. Does this make sense?
It does make sense. Yeah.
You understand this, John, as well? Do you get where I'm going with this? It's not. Don't want it to be overly technical with it.
No, it's fine. I will say, before you discuss this next shot, the difference between fitting someone like me, who you have to perceive as a high handicapper and basically whacks the ball and kind of assumes he knows the direction it's hopefully going to go, and Neil, who's been playing a long time, when you say just adjust this, he would probably adjust it pretty quickly. I've seen Neil pick up a club, say one of mine or one we're just trying out, hit 2 shots and go, oh yeah, I know what to do to change this, and then suddenly it goes straighter. Where I'm still almost, sounds horrible, but hitting a hoping at almost every shot. So it's for you to explain something, it's trickier for me to then go, oh yeah, I can just correct that by 3% or something.
But think about it from, at the end of the day, we, like I said before, we all learn in different ways.
Sure.
It's how you get that point across. That, if I think back to my school days, there's some subjects which I didn't do very well at, there's other subjects that I did really well at. And actually, if you think back, it's probably because you just got on better with that teacher than you did the other teacher. Of
course.
And it's the communication line there.
Yeah.
So it's about dialing into, and all coaches should really be doing. I mean, there's no secret to this. Coaches, all they're doing, like for me as a coach, I'm prodding. I'm nudging him in a direction.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work, I might just pull him back a bit and then nudge him in another direction. And I'm just trying to get a feel as to how does he react. And it'd be no different than you. If you were in here, I'd start pushing questions your way and then read what information's coming back to me and then push you down a different line maybe. Or,
I think that's what I mean. Would you change how you do a fitting stroke lesson, which is what this is really, when you work with someone like me or a beginner coming in to be fitted for his first set of clubs? Because I always advocate that you should be fitted irrespective of how good you are, because it's a kind of lesson as well. Compared to someone like Neil, who's low mid handicapper and wants to go into becoming a single figure, who has the knowledge and the ability to change things quite quickly or subtly, where I might try and have to change things dramatically, and then you have to say, well, you've just done that completely wrong, and be a bit more patient maybe.
Correct, and also numbers. Some people react really well with numbers and some people don't.
Okay.
I get a sense with Neil that he's a feel player rather than a numbers player, so should we say.
Okay.
Whereas if you take me and my brother's a very good golfer.
Oh yeah.
And he practices, Paul, when Paul was coming up through the ranks, I mean, he practiced 8 hours a day. It was a job to him. Yeah. If you gave me 8 hours a day of practice, I would go downhill very quickly.
Yeah. Not that sort of style of
not
player.
That sort of style, and he wants to see his golf swing all the time. If you get me to watch my golf swing, I find it hard enough to edit my own golf swing when I'm doing videos, because I don't watch it too much. Because if I start watching it, I start tinkering too much.
Yeah.
And there it starts pushing me in directions I don't really want to go down. So we all just deal with it in different ways.
Of course.
And for me, I'm a feel player, so I don't need to necessarily practice a lot. I just need to work my way around a golf course. Whereas my brother, and Neil would be probably the same as me, a bit field playery. Whereas my brother's very much, he needs to hit balls. If he doesn't go out and hit balls,
almost feels like he loses it if he doesn't
loses
that technique again.
If you gave me, right, here's your option. You've got 8 hours on the range, or play around the golf. I'd go and play around the golf. You work your way around that. you work around the golf.
You feel your way around. Yeah, absolutely. And like I say, we all just learn in different ways.
Well, I think that's also the issue with Neil. Neil, as a general golfer, doesn't necessarily have the time to go and practice. So if he works 50, 60 hours a week in a supermarket or something, the only bit of spare time he's got, he wants to use playing the game, actually going on a course, hitting the ball.
Yeah.
I've got a bit more time being a carer. I can fit in, like we said, you were discussing going to Cape the other day.
Yeah.
I could pop up there every day, just do an hour of chipping the ball, maybe, which I've not done and used to do.
People like, so if I think back to my college days, I used to love, and it didn't do me it didn't help me really, but I used to love going at the range, earphones in, and I could spend hours up there.
Just zone out and do it, yeah.
Just do it that way, but we're all slightly different. If you took my music away, I probably would have been up there 20 minutes and I'm bored.
Yeah.
You know, where I'd rather be just on the golf course playing. So again, it's what you find is right for you.
It's a balance, isn't it?
It's
really?
always going to be a balance.
Yeah.
Go for it. So that one there, 0.7 degrees out to him. So you're zeroed out. Okay, but it was just a poor strike. So we were a little bit in the heel that time, a little bit thin.
Yep.
So we call it down the bottom of the club, which if you catch it low in the face, you're generally going to get the spin to rev up. So we got it way too high there.
Yeah.
So the ball started low and then kind of rose up on you. So it wasn't the most efficient shot.
Yeah.
Right. But the swing was alright, just a poor strike.
Yeah.
Love this move. The start position is so much better.
Yeah, but instead of it starting
left,
it's starting now more central.
Okay. So let's have a little look at those numbers and what we're getting. So that was pretty good, wasn't it? I mean, how did that feel from your point of view?
That felt a lot freer, but then that's the third or fourth swing after trying the move. Your body starts to go, right, I know what I'm supposed to be doing now.
Yeah.
So
now, if we look at what you're getting out of this driver now, okay, if we look at your club data from the bottom, I'm still looking at this bottom one, which is a great shot. So 5.9 degrees up, you're up at about 110 in club head speed, so you're not swinging it as freely as you probably would normally, or going at it quite as hard. Great efficiency, 1.41, hitting up on the ball by 5.9, so nice and up on it.
Yeah.
Swing path 1.2 degrees into out. So we've made a good shift there to try and get that driver to perform right for you. 1.4 degrees close to that path. So again, just started it just right of target, just drifted back to the left. So pretty much still hitting fairway, but just seeing that ball wanting to just draw on you rather than being a pull hook.
It's left half of fairway rather than
correct.
Left half or worse.
Yeah. Strike there, 1 millimetre in the toe, 3 millimetres low, so your tendency is to get a bit low on the strike. But the downside now is obviously we have to look at what the driver's doing based on those numbers. So good ball speed, 155 mile an hour off the face, launching it at 13.2, so like I said, maybe just a smidgen degree high, maybe, something like that. But now we're at the spin is around 3,000 revs. Yeah. So now the club is you're not optimising that club now because it's just over revving for you. There is always a balance between being too low, so the modern tech, they're always trying to push them. The modern tech, you're going to find that they're starting to drop the spin a lot because they want to maximise the distance. If your ball is spinning, it's revving, the ball is revving, it's floating on you too much. Which is why the ball's dropping out of the air at 258. Yeah. Great shot, really, found fairway, but probably lost 6 to 10 yards out of it. So if we can just get you down in the spin now, we'll start to get that a little bit better, I think. You could argue that because the strike was a little low, it's probably revved it up a fraction. Yeah. So we're not far away. I mean, that driver's not far away from optimising for you. Okay. But what we'll do now is I'll just lower the loft fractionally and just see if that does anything. It might just push the face forward, get you striking it maybe a fraction higher. All right, so we've got lofted up, but now we're going to take it down because we've made a change to you.
Yeah.
We need to change this again.
Yeah.
All right, does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So very quickly, whilst you're doing this, the interesting thing for me is that, and probably for a lot of people, is we've had a long time now, and you've not even picked up a new driver, so the fitting is literally becoming a full-blown lesson.
Well, because
with an adjustment to his actual driver. It's not about a shop selling something right now. This is better than that. This is
well
to try and improve him first.
Yeah. So for me, it's the most important factor is getting a new driver. Spending £400 to £500 on drivers now. It's not going to make him a better golfer.
No.
If he can walk away from, and I'm not saying that we won't go into that at some stage. I just think if I can get this fitted to what is right, and then we max out what we can get from this, and then put it up against something that's, because you go give this a fair go.
Of course.
Yeah.
He might turn around though and say, do you know what, Dad, I just don't like this driver anymore. I want to change it.
Sometimes it's a confidence thing, isn't it?
Of course
If you
it is,
think no matter what you do with
you
it,
start
I'm not
looking
happy.
down at it. You've lost confidence in the driver. I think give it a fair run, give it a fair go. Put it through its paces, and if he's still not happy with the feel, the sound, the confidence, whatever it is, then you can start manoeuvring from there. But for me personally, it's not just about selling a new driver, it's about him walking away, understanding his golf swing a little bit better, and becoming a better golfer because of it.
Yeah, which is sort of a part of coming here to sort of get this and to see, the driver. Because obviously it wasn't custom fitted, so does that make a massive difference with that? So yeah, we're going through it.
Yeah. Well, this is I'm about to max this driver out really as much as
just about as far as you can go.
Yeah. And then we're going to see what it performs like in these next sort of couple of shots and just see what you can get out of it. But I'm loving the golf swing. Like the swing now is really moving. You're really getting that club moving in the right direction to start to optimise a driver.
Yeah.
Healy?
A little bit easy, yeah.
Sounded a bit low, a bit Healy. And as good as it is to see, you've got to see people's poor shots.
Yeah.
But really, we want to try and see what this thing's going to do maxing out. It's forgiving enough, and you've hit the fairway there.
Yeah.
It's not, it's carried. It's only gone about. Your path there was about 0, so 1 degree into out.
Yeah.
You carried it about 230 yards, but it was just a miss hit.
Yeah.
It was just a miss hit.
I guess that's it. No matter what level you are, you're always going to have mishits. You're always going to have a bad shot.
Yeah, you will.
So you want to see the potential that you can do with this club, and then the better you get.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to rely on the technology anyway, because at the end of the day, all these drivers, whichever one you do, you've got to rely on the companies to give you the stability in the clubs.
Sure.
They're all great drivers now. Let's be honest. There's not many out there that are poor drivers, so they're all going to be consistent enough with off-centered strikes.
Okay.
It's just what this can do when he rips one is what I'm interested in, really.
Because that's the potential. That's where he can go.
Yeah.
Whether it be with lessons or tinkering or just practice.
Correct.
That's what you can do with it. Yeah. Are you doing what you normally do? You're making coffee for people?
Yeah, and entertaining people. It's the two things I do well.
You do it very well.
Coffees?
Coffee.
Any sugars?
No sugar, thanks.
No sugar,
No
thanks.
sugar?
Yeah.
No, you have one, don't you?
Just a little one.
Cool. Alright, back in a minute.
We've seen the star. Let's get back to normal.
Yeah, he's he loves it, doesn't he? Just a little bit left. Just feel the swing change there slightly. Just got a bit over the top.
Yeah. Went back to more that's probably like 1 or 2 out to in then.
It's actually not. It was a combination. It was only like 0.6 out to in.
Yeah.
So you've really made a shift today. You'll probably start feeling it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Your body. It just caught it a bit out the heel.
Yeah.
And that's kicked it a little bit. It's kicked it a little bit left on your club face a little bit closed, a little bit out the heel. It's just pull hook.
Yeah.
So it's more, again, more a little bit strike there more so than anything else. And again, 265 on the carry though, spin down at 2.2.
Yeah.
You know, just a little, and launch at 11.5. So you're, you know, it's kind of falling into the bracket of being pretty much spot on for you. So close. How'd that feel?
Feeling it.
And 270 carry now.
Don't make him too good, you know. I do have to compete against him occasionally.
Really good numbers now.
When
So we're
in my
really
head,
getting somewhere now.
In my head, the sensation is like, you know, Hogan. That sort of the long
Okay, yeah. Well,
follow through. That's what sort of feeling. I'm
yeah.
driving through with the right now.
Yeah. You know, 271 carry, spinning it at 2.2. The last two shots have been about 2.2. 1 degree, 0.3 degrees in to out.
Yeah.
And club face just a fraction close to that. But delivery and launch that time just a fraction low. But it's there. It's you're nearly there. If we can get that strike was not bad. It was 1 millimetre in the hip, in toe. But the club is starting to perform. You're starting to optimise the club. Spins come right down. Your performance of your swing's getting better. It's starting to work for you. Healing. Yeah, feel it.
Just starting.
Just a little low. Again, you know, fractionally low
Oh,
in
low
the
on the
face,
face, yeah.
fractionally low, fractionally thin. And this is where for me, this is where your practice starts to come in. Strike is really important, and because you're a little bit scattered, you know, you've come straight out of lockdown.
Yeah.
You've not probably hit many balls for a little while. The first thing that generally goes is the strike, and that's where your practice will come in for this.
Yeah.
But for me, we've kind of optimised the driver in some ways. So getting yourself at, you know, we've got you in 9.5 degrees in that one.
Yeah.
It's all standard. Everything else is pretty much set up as standard. I think we've kind of got the most of what we're going to get out of that driver now, which I think is performing really, really well. You know, around 2,500 revs. Carry around 265 to 270 is kind of where you're at, and that's good. That's tidy, very good. What I would like to do is, because the launch is just a fraction low, but that's more towards your strike being a bit low in the face. Is I'm just going to peg you up a little bit, just going to tee you up a bit higher, and just see if that might just change your strike location a little bit. Normally go high on the tee.
Normally trying to keep it about half above.
This is a little high, but let's see what it does. Still feeling that swing. Okay. Yeah, that's what you get. Give yourself a fraction.
Yeah.
Fraction, half an inch to an inch further away from the ball as well. Just getting that feeling. So close. How'd that feel?
Yeah, sort of take, as you say, a little bit further back, just try to get that strike more central.
Your strike was better.
Yeah.
Really good numbers again, but 265 on the carry, spinning it at 2.8. I mean, that's kind of where, at 2,500 revs, if I can get my club spinning it around 2.5 to 2.8, I'm probably playing the best golf, really, from that side of it. Launch just a fraction low, again, just a smidgen low in the face. Better strike though, as in laterally and more in the centre, more towards the toe. But just again, just that little bit lower. And it's interesting, we've changed tee height here quite a bit. You know, we've gone from a pink tee to an orange tee, so we've changed the tee height. yet his strike location is still fractionally low on the face.
Okay.
It's interesting how the mind won't change, won't
Yeah.
lift you up. But again, I think from your point of view, moving forward is a good practice session of strike.
Yeah.
You know, focusing on strike with driver is
Yeah.
going to be a real key point. If you can get it a little bit higher, a little bit closer in the toe,
Yeah.
rather than being low in heel, you know, getting those smothery ones, it's that's going to help you a lot. Swing path that time 0.0,
Straight on the.
straight down the line.
So how is he going to practice that? Are you going to, obviously we don't have monitors and things, most people don't. Would it be like stickers on the face or something?
Sticker on the
just to
face,
track
face
where it's
tape,
going?
spray, foot spray, something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that you can use. Just gives you a bit more of an idea, so you can hit a shot, look at it, you know, and then learn to move backwards and forwards from the ball. You know, give yourself some distance away from the
Yeah.
ball.
Okay.
Here he comes up.
You want to interrupt us walking down?
Hang on a minute. What's that?
It's from our world famous
So
coffee
you haven't
machine.
made tea
No,
coffee?
I
You
pushed
had
the
a
button.
machine.
Button.
I pushed the button and inserted the tokens. That's halfway there. I would have done, but all the cups are dirty, so couldn't give you a dirty cup, could I? But yeah, it's real coffee apparently.
Real coffee.
That's what it says. Yeah, real.
That's what it
The
says.
spirit of real coffee, or the real
Says on the
spirit of
bag.
coffee. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, from my personal point of view, I think that, you know, that driver's going to work absolutely fine for what you're doing with it. You've just got to ask it to do the right things. At the end of the day, strike is what's strike, Bernie?
Strike is king.
Strike is king.
Yeah.
So your strike is a bit out,
Yeah.
and it's a combination of me moving you around a little bit, but it's also it's been poor
Yeah.
when you first walked in here. So for me personally, right now,
change.
because of what we've changed, we can try something else, no problem. But I would send you away now.
Yeah.
So go and work on what we've talked about. Let's focus on that. Once you've got that into a more consistent routine and everything into your game, then we start looking at the performance of the driver.
You're trying to get his launch angle up.
Well, he catches them a bit low, which is keeping that launch down. When he bombs one, when he gets one,
Spins, right?
it's great. Yeah, the driver's performing.
Just hitting the bottom of the club.
Just a little bit thin, but we've teed him right up now. So we you know, so again, you focusing on, and it's, I know this sounds really, but I will stand there on every tee shot and I'm focusing on where I'm hitting it out the face.
Right.
Because the face is going to do some.
The face does everything else. Once it's gone,
If I get that strike, I'm always trying to get it either. If I want a high bomber, like high low spin bomber, I'm locating it high and toe.
Yeah.
Right.
If I want to keep one a bit lower, I'm getting down in the bottom of the club and just coming out a little bit heely.
So right now, as I finished this video, I said off camera, we were just discussing this. Literally, you've pushed that driver to the limit. You're doing fantastically well with it. It's more about tweaking NEAL than it is the driver anymore. We can't do that. You would basically be sent away now.
Yeah.
Yeah, a decent fitter, someone like you, would actually send them away and go and work on your game a bit with what you've got, and then if you're still unhappy,
For me
come back and
right
change.
now, he's got things to work on.
yeah,
Let's get working on that, and then let's build the club around that finished product of what you're going to.
but that's also the great thing about someone like yourself is, I'm not criticising shops, but shops have to purely sell. They're there. Let's look at the new thing, and we'll just sell you it, irrespective of how whether it's do much better than this.
But I think
if
you change the problem with that we've trained golfers to have free fittings.
Right.
Well, I'm not being funny, but a golf pro still has to put food on the table and you know, do things with their family or whatever, and they've still got businesses to run and they've got lots of overhead. So ultimately, if they're giving away free fittings,
Yeah.
they're not, and they don't sell anything off the back of it, then they've got no money in.
Yeah.
So they're giving away their time and this and the other. And if you actually moved it around and said, right, well, a fitting is this, and you might not end up with a new driver, but you'll end up with a different type of swing approach or whatever it's going to be, and improve your overall game. Then I think if we'd have trained golfers in that way, then it would be a very different mindset with lots of people.
I agree. We've had a discussion with some other people, some other fitters, etc., about that kind of thing, and I think there's a big debate going on, let's say, Foremost or something, or one of those companies online, discussing free fittings, whether free fittings should exist, whether PGA Pro should be paid for that, the perception that golfers should just get free fittings because some shops offer free fittings. But that's not what you're doing. You're not just fitting a club here. You're actually giving a very comprehensive lesson right now, which you should get paid for anyway.
Well, it
That's
goes
what
hand
you
in
normally
hand.
be paid
It goes
for.
hand. It
Goes
goes
hand in
hand.
hand.
It goes
Yeah,
hand in hand.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, for visitors coming into here, I charge.
Yeah.
I charge because I don't charge members
Sure.
for fittings. Because the majority of the time I know what I'm dealing with a member,
Yeah.
so I know where their game is kind of at that point. I would have seen them play, or and it's my service to the club.
Of course,
the way I
it's
look
a
at it.
part of that
However, there are every pro is in a different boat, aren't they? They're all in different situations. So it's but I don't believe fittings should be free of charge.
Yeah.
If you're going to go down the line that I've just done.
Yeah.
Which for me, fitting and coaching go hand in hand. For lots of Titleists do a fantastic job of fitting. Ben, Ben. Ben is a golf coach first and foremost, but he is a fitter for Titleist.
Sure.
And that fitting from Titleist would have been free of charge.
Yeah.
Ben's objective is he's got 45 minutes to fit you into a driver.
Sure. But I've even had lessons from Ben at the same time. He still gives you that advice.
He's nudging you.
Little bits, yeah.
He's nudging you in the right direction.
But it's still about buying whatever
but at the end of the day, he's got 45 minutes to fit you into the right club.
Yeah.
And that's where the game has possibly moved in a slightly different direction when it comes to fitting, which is a shame, because people will hunt out a free fitting and not actually get necessarily everything from that.
I think there's you can maybe do this one as well, but I'm quite happy to do this one at some point. I think there's a really good video discussion here amongst a couple of different pros and fitters and about that, because like we said, we've got to change the perception that golfers should expect just fittings for free. There's not an awful lot of markup on sales of clubs anyway.
No.
Your time costs money.
And like I said, each to their own as to how they do it and what they rely on for their income. So it's like I say, it's for me the most important aspect here is that you become a better golfer.
Yeah.
Me putting you in a different driver and almost like putting a plaster over your issues of your golf swing or your deliveries. It's only going to eventually come away, and eventually you'll start. You'll only get worse and worse. It's about you understanding your game a little bit more.
But I also think that's, we're discussing confidence about the club. I think confidence in the fitter stroke tutor is great as well.
100%. You need to be open and honest with the person.
If you've done me a fitting, or if you've done Neil a fitting and said, oh, that's all right, but I can do you better if you buy this one, and I go away and I'm not still doing very well, would I come back to you to try anything again? Would I trust what you said? I would much rather you say, that's a really good club and I don't think you can do much more with it. Be charged for the lesson, as opposed to, because it's kind of both, and then walk away and go, I could go back to Dan now if I need a new club because I trust he's not going to sell me something. It's about improving myself.
I'll get you another way, don't worry. But yeah, so that's exactly how I'd leave it with Neil now. He'd walk away and focus on that, and then I'd say, right, come and see me in a couple of weeks after you've worked hard on your game, or however much time you've got to work on your game. Give it a good few sessions, a few rounds of golf, get the feeling of it, and then you can have that discussion after. You have that discussion, right, well, what's the ball flight doing now? Because you will see an instant difference. You go on the golf course, as long as you commit to it, and that's always the hardest thing, is you get under a bit of pressure, first tee, whatever it is, you go straight back to your old golf swing.
Revert back to the old.
And it's about just committing to that new move, that new sort of idea, and pushing with it, and then you can have more feedback and more discussion on how that's done for you on the golf course from there.
Okay, so I'm just going to turn around here. So for the purposes of this video, we're finishing there because, quite frankly, right now Dan would have said, walk away, Neil, because that's a really good club. It's literally a modern club anyway, hardly any difference. Go and practice, go and try it out, test the things that you've been advised to do, and then maybe come back in a few weeks. But we are going to get down to show him a couple of other clubs, and I know Neil want to look at the Cobra. So just for an example or just a comparison, we're going to look at that anyway. So thank you very much for watching. I know it's a very technical video and a lot of people might not watch this, but I think it's really important, and it's going to be a long one, but it's a good one. So please subscribe, please hit the notification bar, do all that stuff, join the community on my channel, and you're probably already on
Thumbs
Dan's.
up.
But
Definitely
hey,
a thumbs up.
do a thumbs up. See how
YouTube
you
like
do it
thumbs
so
up.
much better than me,
YouTube
honestly.
loves a thumbs up.
Yeah, I'll get better. I'll never be as good as you, but hey, you know, we're fine. So, join the YouTube community wherever you may be, okay? And we're going to pop back in a minute when Dan supposedly we disappear for 3 weeks and come back. Okay?
Yeah.